is brought to you by my self-published book, Rain. It is a psychological thriller about a group of young adults in a psych ward who get this new counselor that's trying to understand their mental illnesses and trying to understand them. But then the counselor shortly learns that these kids might not be crazy and that this place is actually making them crazy, all the while trying to figure out what's going on with him and his psychological demons and his problems. If you would like more information about this book, be sure to hit the link in the description box below. Supporting me and buying these books actually helps me to run this channel.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Fiction Tea Reviews. I feel like I haven't done this in a really long time. I also feel like I kind of look bloated. But anyway, what's up? It's been a while since I've done reviews. So today I'm going to talk about the movie The Thing. This was a requested movie, but also had someone else tell me about this movie and they're like, you gotta watch it, and I watch it and I'm like, I gotta talk about it. In remote Antarctica, a group of American research scientists are disturbed at their base camp by a helicopter shooting at a sled dog. When they take in the dog, it brutally attacks both human beings and canines in the camp, and they discover that the beast can assume the shape of its victims. A resourceful helicopter pilot, Kurt Russell, and the camp doctor, Richard Dysart, led the camp crew in a desperate, gory battle against the vicious creature before it picks them all off one by one. Here's John Carpenter. I'm sure you guys know John Carpenter from Halloween. From Halloween movies, the cast is Kurt Russell as R.J. McReady, Keith David as Childs, Wilford Brimley as Dr. Blair, David Clennon as Palmer, Donald Moffat as Gary, and T.X. Carter as Knowles, plus more. I thought this movie was great, from the vintage style of it, to the effects of the creatures, to the goriness. Everything about this film was just great. Special effects were just like on point. This movie was captured really well. Now, it's not one of those films that's like has like a strong storyline, and I think it's mostly about plot rather storyline, I'd say. But even though it's not so much about storyline, like the effects of it, I think is what really got me for this movie, and I think that that's what makes it like solid. There were just so many moments where the actors actually did a really good job. The actor who played McReady, the scene where everybody came in and they're like, wait, like they suspected him of being something, they suspected him of like being one of the things, and he's just like, I'm gonna take all of you out and I'm not a thing, but if you guys are coming towards me, listen, I'll take all of y'all out if y'all trying to take me out. And I feel like his acting in that scene was so good, and he's such a really good leader. And also the old man who was suspected at first, he did a really good job. Like his facial expressions were like really believable. I said this in an old review of a old movie that I did, that there's just something about vintage films that seems more real emotion wise, and that it's not play on or like pretend or like, you know, that they're acting. There's just something that is authentic or genuine that comes from the actors in this film when they're doing these scenes. The characters seem more intimate together as well in these type of films, especially in this film. In this film, as well as like what I've been noticing in vintage films, is that the characters are more intimate and it's more genuine for some. Like you can tell by just watching it. It's not a play on or a put on of like emotion or trying to act. Like you ever watch a film when you're like, I know that they're acting, like this is so dramatic, it's funny. It's not bad, but it's funny. But like this is one of those films where it's like, this seemed like it could be like some real life, me watching a real life thing happen to these people, these research scientists. Yeah, they definitely had a lot more heart. Also, the actor who played Childs, oh, I love that man. Loved him ever since I watched Agent Cody Banks. I was like, oh, I love this guy, he's great. I also love that the setting took place in Antarctica. Like, there's just something cool and eerie about Antarctica. After watching the movie, I did look up some behind the scenes and watch them talk in interviews, which I think is so important because you really get a full story. I can really base my opinion off of like seeing the background things, seeing how they put things together, listening to people talk. So the way that they did the spaceship, they used some sort of metal piece. This lady named Suzanne Turner put it together. Genius. And also I found out that the title of the movie, The Thing, was created using like some effects from computer and like a trash bag and fire, and it's just really cool. I would suggest you guys like check that out. There's another behind the scenes that I watched where he talks about how they did like the head coming off the table when the guy's head was coming off. Oh, that was such a good part. Like the goriness and just the special effects of that scene. Oh man, it was kind of beautiful, like in a horrifying, sick way. You know, it was said that they used like some sort of wax, some sort of bubble gum, and it had like this comic book effect. That's another thing I really like about this, like the way that they, because I watched how they put together the scenes and drew everything out. It's a very comic book effects, and it's just so good. Like, it's so good. Like the detailing of how they did like these kind of grotesque creatures, like it's, whew, man, inspiring. A lot of the sculptures were handcrafted. They had went through so many trial and errors. Like just watching the behind the scenes just made me appreciate the movie even more, and I was like, this is like incredible. Lastly, I want to say that John Carpenter, why am I saying his name like that? He talked about how this movie is not just about these things inhabiting people and these grotesque creatures. It's about truth, and it's about how we trust less and less as people. And I was like, I didn't even like think about that as like consider that for the movie, but he talks about how that's what it's really about, how we trust less and less as time goes on. And it does definitely, it does show that in the movie, because trust, nobody had really any trust. Everybody was like suspicious, looking around like this person could be the thing, that person could be the thing, we gotta take these blood tests. And it does really show like that lack of trust slowly fading away. Overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I really like it. I think this movie is so cool. I think the coolest thing about this movie is the special effects. The artist in me is just like, them grotesque effects, they're just, oh, they're doing something to my brain. I just want to like make that. That's just cool. So I think that was really good. I also really think the message at the end, really good, and I would recommend this movie. It's a classic. It's a really good film. I know that there was a remake. This is actually a remake of the original one, but there's also a remake of this one, and I hear that it's not that good, and I'm probably not gonna watch it. But yeah, definitely recommend this film. Definitely go watch it. I watched it on Amazon. Yeah, I don't know. And I'll see you guys all next time. Peace and love. Bye.